welcome to the music room. Today we're looking at my Squier Classic Vibe 70's Starcaster, this guitar right here. The guitar is a relatively recent purchase for me, so I don't really know the long-term ramifications of some of the choices made on this guitar, but so far I'm really enjoying it and I'm going to share my experience with it. This guitar is a Starcaster. It's a guitar shape created by Fender in the 70's to compete with the likes of the Gibson 335. It's a semi-hollow construction. It has a center block running down the center to help prevent feedback issues, and two hollow sides to go on that with these very nice matching F-holes, which are bound. This guitar is an offset, technically. It has an offset waist. Makes it super comfortable for sitting. It means this top part of the guitar doesn't rub into you. It kind of just has a really nice place for you to put your arm. This guitar features two wide range humbuckers. These are the Squier ones. If you're familiar with the wide range pickup, they're kind of infamous. Some might say legendary. These pickups were designed in the 70's to kind of recreate a PAF style humbucker, but with a particular Fender sound. Here, these pickups can't quite match that original 70's wide range humbucker sound because they do not in fact have cuneiform magnets. They seem to be more of an original humbucker construction, but nevertheless, they sound great. They might not be 100% original to the 70's, but something about this kind of larger construction really encapsulates a lot more frequencies to my ear than a kind of standard humbucker. This guitar is a very pretty guitar. It's a double bound body, bound F-holes as I said before, and has this very cool classic Starcaster headstock. This headstock is kind of a love it or hate it type thing. I personally think it's pretty stylish. It's very, very retro. It has the very classic paint stripe and the kind of rounded top here. This guitar features Squier vintage tuners, which are the typical ones you'd find on a classic vibe. The only difference here is they're a little bit more period correct because they're not slotted in. They're kind of a more modern tuner where you put the string through a hole, but that's kind of a down point, to be honest. I really am a big fan of the Squier vintage style tuners. These aren't any less stable per se, but they are a little more difficult to take the strings off and on if that's something that's important to you. The neck of this guitar is a pretty slim kind of C neck. If you're familiar with any of the Squier Telecasters, it's very much the same neck profile. You'll feel right at home with this particular guitar. The neck is a vintage gloss finish. It's nicely tinted. It kind of adds to the retro aesthetic of this whole guitar, and really there's no complaints here. It's very solid construction, very smooth fret edges, nothing to worry about there. I will say this guitar is pretty unique. Its sustain is really quite amazing. I think it comes down to this tune-o-matic bridge. This isn't original to the Starcaster design. The traditional ones have kind of a hardtail Strat type looking bridge, which is kind of up to personal preference. This does the job pretty well. It's very adjustable, as one might say. Another change made from the traditional 70s model is the lack of a master volume. That would have been very nice, especially if you want to do swells and stuff. Trying to play something, then reaching down here and then fading the guitar in is a bit of a stretch, but it is doable, and people who really love swells probably have a volume pedal anyways. The electronics on this guitar have been plenty stable. I have had instances with Classic 5 guitars where the electronics were not so good. Luckily here I haven't had any issues, but if something were to go wrong, working on hollow body instruments is kind of something I want to avoid at all costs, or I'd have to get a real professional in to address some of the problems. So if you're looking for a hollow body electric guitar and you don't really want to get a Gibson style hollow body and still have some of the classic kind of Fender neck shapes, a bolt-on construction, and also have it be an offset, which is super comfortable to play, the Starcaster is a really awesome bet. It does come in 3 different finishes. Here I opted for the walnut. It's a very, very classy look, especially with the binding. And for the price, man, it's very, very hard to find a guitar of this kind of caliber with these kind of pickups, with this kind of construction at the price point. Yeah, it's a good complementary guitar if you have a single coil type guitar. The humbuckers are very articulate, but still have a lot more girth, especially with jerk tones. And yeah, if you're looking for something like this, I recommend it. I don't think you can go wrong with this model. You might want to look at the cheaper versions of this model. There's an Affinity, and then there's like a Contemporary, which has active pickups for like if you're somebody who really likes a lot of high gain. But this right here is a good, you'll never have to really upgrade it, never have to really touch it type of guitar, and it's just a solid playing instrument. What more can you say? It's a recommendation from me, and as always, thank you for watching.